Welcome to another edition of Coffee with the Goose. Good to have you back with me. Got a lot of good stuff for you today. I'm the Goose, by the way. You knew that. Lots of good stuff. We're back into boxing. We're back in the groove. Looking like we're going to have an announcement here pretty soon with Manny Pacquiao and probably Terence Crawford. But stick with us. We'll be the first to let you know. First, though, got to get some coffee. Got to have some PED, right? My coffee, very strong, like my opinion. And got some creamer in there to make it sweet, like you know who. All right, we're good to go. Let's talk more about the potential fight, welterweight title fight between Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. Hasn't been announced yet. We expect it really soon, maybe in the next few days. But we're kind of, chipping away at the different aspects of the fight. Who is Pacquiao? And actually, believe it or not, pretty soon we're going to come out with a video. Who is Manny Pacquiao? Sounds silly, but it's a legitimate question because, I think for the vast majority of boxing fans and even Manny Pacquiao fans, they really don't know who this guy is. We know. And there have been many movies about him, including Kid Kulafu, which is, we'll get into that later. But let's talk a little bit more about Terence Crawford, shall we? I believe, and I think many of you believe too, that he is the best challenge in the welterweight division right now for Manny Pacquiao. I really think he is. Errol Spence Jr. would be a great fight. But I think, we're really leaning towards Terence Crawford now. The Omaha, Nebraska native is undefeated. He's been in the business for many years. He actually started as a pro in 2014, I believe. He's 37-0 with 28 knockouts. Very impressive. He was, I think this is his third weight division that he's been a champion in. And as a light welterweight, he was an undisputed champion. He held all the belts. I mean, that was very impressive. Crawford is a great I can't say young anymore. He's 33. And, in the sporting world, especially in the boxing world, that's usually when the skills begin to diminish, especially at the lighter weights. Because that's where speed is such a factor. So at 33 years old, I'm not sure if Terence Crawford is in his prime anymore. Well, we'll find out. But I've said this before. I really respect Terence Crawford. He's a great fighter. He's got so many great skills. He's quick on his feet. He's a great counter puncher. He's left-handed. Is he right-handed? What is he? I mean, that's part of the dilemma that Terence Crawford opponents face. He's a tough cookie. And speaking of tough, now I'm gonna come down on Terence a little bit this show. How tough is Terence Crawford? The casual boxing fan will say, he's 37-0, 28 knockouts. He's had 5 fights, I believe, in the welterweight division. He's knocked them all out. Oh, he's a beast. No, he's not. Okay. First of all, and this is common, okay, so I'm not coming down on him too hard here. His first 15 fights in his professional career were against, schmucks. That's usually how it starts. And then he built on his career after that. And again, he's been very, very successful. However, when you look at the tough guys, at least the tough guys that Pacquiao has fought in his career, his legendary career, Terence Crawford is not tough. Not at all. Especially when you look at his resume. I've been through this many times, but the facts bear me out on this. He's beat some tough guys in his career, but his resume just doesn't stack up. Not his fault. It's Bob Arum, the promoter. That's the guy who really controls the narrative here and, decides who he's going to fight. Hopefully it'll be Pacquiao this time. But let's look at some of the fighters that Pacquiao has faced in his career and beaten and compare them to Terence Crawford, okay? Is Terence Crawford tougher than Eric Morales? No, he's not. Pacquiao beat Morales, knocked him out twice, okay? Let's go down the list. Marco Antonio Barrera. Is Terence Crawford tougher than Barrera? No, he's not. And no more skilled. And Pacquiao beat him twice and knocked him out once. The list is long, so bear with me, okay? Juan Manuel Marquez. There's no way Terence Crawford is tougher than Juan Manuel Marquez. Marquez knocked Pacquiao out, remember? But you should also remember that Pacquiao beat him twice. Well, actually 3 times. One of them was a draw, and one of the scorers admitted that they made a mistake and it should have been a win for Pacquiao. So really, Pacquiao beat Juan Manuel Marquez 3 times. And, say what you want about Marquez putting him to sleep 9 years ago. He didn't want another rematch. Marquez knew that Pacquiao he's a dangerous beast. So no, Terence Crawford is not tougher than Juan Manuel Marquez. The list goes on. How about Oscar De La Hoya? Come on. That's not even close. Not even close. And Pacquiao retired him. Shane Mosley. Nope. Again, Terence Crawford is not tougher or stronger than Shane Mosley. Antonio Margarito. There's one of the similar fighters. Bigger, but greater reach, stronger, etc., etc. And no, although he's probably quicker and overall skills maybe a little better than Antonio Margarito, but tougher, stronger, more of a knockout artist? No way. Well, Pacquiao defeated him and broke an eye socket and made him retire too. One of the many fighters that Pacquiao sent to the hospital. And there's more. How about Tim Bradley? Yeah, Bradley beat him the first time. He was robbed. We all know that. And Pacquiao beat him 2 more times, knocked him down 3 times in that last fight. And he's retired. So no, Terence Crawford is not tougher than Tim Bradley, might end up being a Hall of Famer himself. And last but not least, a current member of the welterweight crop, Keith Thurman, who Pacquiao defeated in his last fight a year and a half ago. Remember, that was Keith Thurman's only loss of his career. Is Terence Crawford tougher? More of a harder punches than Keith Thurman? I don't think so. No. So, for those of you who jump on the Terence Crawford bandwagon, and again, I admire Terence Crawford. I'm not here to rip the guy. He'd be a great opponent for Manny Pacquiao. But let's be honest. And that's what it's all about. Looking at facts and being honest. No, Terence Crawford, at least as a welterweight, even though he's got 5 KOs, he's not a tough guy. He's not someone to be feared. He's not going to retire Pacquiao, you pactards. It's nonsense. Go ahead, give me some more comments. I love it. I'm a big boy. I can handle it when you rip me in your comments after the show. That's fine. I can, even if you have not so nice words to say to me, I can still see through it and maybe learn a few things from you too. I try and respect you, but come on now. Terence Crawford, at least as a welterweight, is not scary. He's not a tough guy. And I'm never going to say never. We've learned that in boxing and in life in general, right? Never say never. I'm not going to sit here and be foolish and say, wow, Terence Crawford, he'll never knock Pacquiao out. That would be foolish too. I'd just be playing along that game, and I ain't going to do that. But very, very unlikely that Terence Crawford would knock out Manny Pacquiao, especially when you consider that part of Pacquiao's game, maybe the strongest part of his game, is the intelligence and the scouting and the game plan with Freddie Roach. That's what one of the things that sets him apart from other fighters, aside from his great skill and commitment and all that. Come on now, Terence Crawford's probably not going to send Manny Pacquiao into night and a knockout. Not going to happen. Going to throw some numbers at you here before we wrap up the show. Okay, as I mentioned, Terence Crawford is undefeated. Great fighter, 37-0 with 28 KOs. He has lost. He's been an amateur fighter. He fought 82 amateur fights, and he lost 12. So he can lose. And I've seen a little bit of that on YouTube. And believe you me, the Pacquiao camp is looking at that too and picking it apart. That's one of the reasons Pacquiao and Freddie Roach and Justin Fortune, who we've interviewed in the past and we hope to interview again here this year, they're salivating. They're licking their chops. They see weaknesses. And they know Pacquiao can defeat Terence Crawford. Will it happen? I don't know. More numbers for you. Pacquiao, is Crawford left-handed or right-handed? I'm still not sure. He fights from both sides of the plate. But Pacquiao against other left-handers, 10-0 with one draw. And I don't know. I'll have to do a little more research. Terence Crawford against left-handers? I don't know. But left-handers, as you guys know, it's a different ball game, and you better be ready. I don't care what sport it is, but especially boxing. They're coming from the other angle, and you're not used to that, and that's just another advantage that Pacquiao has. Pacquiao, by the way, has he fought undefeated fighters? Of course he has. His record against unbeaten fighters, 8 wins and 4 losses, and that's a little bit misleading. Let me straighten that out for you before we end the show. Two of those 4 losses against undefeated fighters were out-and-out robbery. Jeff Horn, that was robbery. Remember Teddy Atlas actually confronting Jeff Horn after the fight? That was just such horrible corruption in boxing. Is just it was awful. But we know that was robbery. And another one of them was the first Timothy Bradley fight. That was out-and-out robbery, too. And Pacquiao avenged that loss with 2 defeats of Tim Bradley, who was a great fighter. So there you go. Bob Arum, we're going to talk about this in another show. It may be revenge time for Manny Pacquiao. He fought for Bob Arum for many, many years. He doesn't anymore after that Jeff Horn debacle. And if he fights Terence Crawford, this will be his first match against a top rank fighter. So it'll be a little bit of revenge. And, I'm going to add one more thing about Terence Crawford. He's not a tough guy. And even though he actually said in an interview, oh yeah, Pacquiao ran for me. He's afraid of me. Terence, maybe that's just boxing lingo. You know better than that. Pacquiao's not afraid of you. He ain't afraid of anybody. Only God, right? But it should be interesting to see how these two match up. And once the fight is announced, we will start to get into unravel this for you and eventually make a prediction. But it'll be a great fight. To wrap it up, Terence Crawford is not fearsome. He's not going to knock Manny Pacquiao out. He's just not a tough guy. I'm afraid that's just the case. Look it up, all right? That's it for this edition of Coffee with a Goose. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. And the number of subscribers keeps growing. Thank you. Jude, my great producer, and I are much indebted to you folks. More shows to come soon. You guys take care.